Okay guys, you know we've been doing this training experiment where both bikes have been down. I've been off the bike for a long time, about a month, and getting back into it. I've never done even near all the cycling that I've done even past that time, starting back in May. So it's May, June, July, August, a good 4 months of a lot of cycling. And only rode about once a week until my bikes broke, and I didn't get to ride for a month. Now I'm just back on, and the footage you're watching right now is from last Saturday, which was 4 days ago. Today's Tuesday, or is that 3 days? Sunday, Monday, yeah, 3 days ago. And I wanted to see how I feel, you know, getting back on the bike. Well, I felt really good. My cardio was really good. And what was interesting was how high my heart rate was on the motorcycle, and still didn't feel like I was working that hard, like I could have kept going a lot longer. Today is the second day of riding since I'm back on the bike, and I warmed up for about 10 minutes this morning here. We got some rain last night, so the track's really good, a little bit slippery in some spots, but no dust, really good. So I'm going to ride a little bit more today and evaluate it a little more, and then tell you guys how I felt. So all that footage you just watched is from the first day. Now we'll get you some second day footage. Okay, into the second day of riding, and I think the experiment test of all that bicycling, changing up my program a little bit, was really good. I mean, my cardio feels a lot better, and I'm surprised, you know, getting more in touch with my cardio and my heart rate, wearing a heart rate monitor all the time, and feeling what it is on the bicycle. Because on my bicycle rides, I was doing about 88 to 89% of my max heart rate on like an hour, even 2 hour rides. Getting out here on the track, I'm finding out that my heart rate is even higher than that on the motorcycle. I'm getting up to 152, and for my age, that is like 92% of my max. When I'm doing a 22-minute moto, my average heart rate was 92% of my max. So that just goes to prove that cardio is the key for motocross. I mean, you've got to have the cardio. Once you have the cardio and you want to strengthen some more of your body, you can do some weights. But I know a lot of people that put weights before cardio, and it's not good, believe me. You've got to have the cardio, man. You've got to have the pump to run everything. Once you have the pump running everything, you can go hard and maintain that heart rate without getting exhausted. and I saw the improvement from doing all that hard cycling. If you want all the ins and outs about training for motocross, man, check out my Motocross Conditioning 2 DVD or stream. I mean, it's the stuff I trained McGrath and Lusk and those guys on, plus some new programs that I discovered lately. It's got a 62-page manual that comes with it. It's just full of all the workouts, all the diet stuff, nutrition, weekly routines. So if you're a pro, all the way back to a weekend warrior, it's got routines and workouts that you can be doing. So if you want to get in shape for motocross, don't learn the hard way. Use my 40 years of experience in this science of training for motocross. So I hope it helps you with this tech tip about cardio. Get your cardio in first, and it's going to work good for you. Okay, hey guys, I wanted to come back with some more information, kind of recap what we did here. This experiment, I've been doing these experiments on training for racing ever since I can remember. When I was racing professionally, you know, always trying to learn new ways of training to get better results. 45 minutes back then, 40 minutes plus 2 laps, you know, conditioning was always a big factor. And we didn't have all the information that we have nowadays, so a lot of it was trial and error, experimenting things. We knew we had to run a lot, and that's probably the biggest thing we did for training was running back then. But ever since then, you know, especially after I retired, learning more about training, I still loved to ride a lot, so I was riding a lot. And as I was learning new things about training, I was a guinea pig. You know, I tried on myself and see how I felt on the bike. And I'm still doing it today. You know, this is just another one of those things where I was trying a new way of training that was different for me, and seeing what the results were on the bike. And this time I shared it with you on the video through the process of doing it. You know, as I said, I put in a lot of miles on the road bike. I don't have any footage of that, but a lot of miles on the road bike. On Map My Ride, it's on there too. And keeping track of my heart rate and everything. And I was surprised that I could train on the road bike with that high of a heart rate for that long. Average heart rate being about 88 to 90% of my max heart rate. And I learned too that, yeah, it's suffering. You know, that's why they say in the cycling you got to suffer, and it is suffering. But I found too that it's really the way you look at it and the way you think about it. And I was able to really not look at it as suffering. I was looking at it as it's just uncomfortable. I know when I'm gonna stop, I'm gonna feel fine again. So mentally, I got used to that and was able to do that without too much problem. I really didn't feel like I was really suffering. And I found too that if I stayed in the moment and just focused on what I was doing, riding the bicycle, being in the right gear and trying to keep my cadence and just staying in that moment and not thinking about, oh man, I still got 3 big climbs to do before I get back. And you know, if I found myself thinking about those, I would just get them out of my mind and focus back on, I'll deal with that when I get there, and stay in the moment. And it was, I really felt good from it, and I felt that my cardio definitely got a lot better in those 4 months, and I was able to ride the bike hard and not get tired on it, and feel pretty loose and feel pretty good actually. And I wanted to say too that the first day that I rode after a month, I got noticeably sore the next day from riding, not being used to riding that much. A little bit sore everywhere throughout my whole body. But I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, it was maybe a 3 of soreness. So it was a good sore. And then I took 3 days off before I rode the motorcycle again, although I continued to train on the bicycle. And then when I rode, the last day was the last footage that you saw, and me recapping there at the end. And now it's been 2 days after that, and I didn't get sore at all the second time after riding the second time. So just want to bring that information to you. That's the way I experiment and learn more things about training and then put them into my training materials. And it was also interesting to me to find that in a 20-minute moto, and also I did a 30-minute moto after that last video recap you saw. I went back out on the track and did a really hard 30-minute moto, and my average heart rate for that 30 minutes was 92% of my max, which is really hard, you would think. And what that is, it's really right below my lactic threshold. If I would go above that intensity, I would pump up lactic acid and really hit a wall and have to stop. You know, you'd be totally exhausted. So I think that's really important to train when you train in cardio, whether it's running or on the bicycle or when you ride motocross, is you want to stay right below that lactic threshold where you reach failure. And I could really feel that on the bicycle, on some of the uphill climbs where I was pushing pretty hard. You know, at the top I was just about getting into my lactic threshold, and then it was nice to recover from it after that. So to really benefit you, once you get in pretty decent shape, you got to be pretty uncomfortable right below that lactic threshold to really make progress. So being able to maintain that heart rate, you got to wear a heart rate monitor. Nobody knows really where you're at. Even Lance Armstrong said he doesn't really know where his heart rate is unless he wears a heart rate monitor. You get an idea, of course, but it's just more interesting, makes it more interesting to wear one, check it while you're riding and see where you're at. Yeah, so anyway, here's a selfie picture of myself after doing that last 30-minute moto I told you about. That looks a little more realistic than when I was pulling up to the camera and talking. I really didn't just do a 20 or 30-minute moto. I was riding for the video. But yeah, after the motos you can see that I'm pretty well spent, but it's a great feeling. I love it. And I hope this video, this tip about training inspires you to get back into it and just do your training, do the cardio. If you want some more better ideas, get my motocross conditioning DVD. There's 2 of them out. And find out some more inspiration and some more ways that you can train to make you better on the bike and better in general. Feeling better. Feeling good. Wanting to train. I hope you get that out of this video.